Drop that super thanks. And let's hit the gong, gang. I like my, the chair squeaking is really... Just adds that special touch, the squeaky chair. Welcome to Strangeville, gang. Welcome to the channel. My name is K to the STRANGE, joined once again by Andrew V to the ABLER. Woo, I put an R in there.
Babbler.
Andrew Babbler, welcome. Welcome to the channel once again. And we're not quite done with the Bronze Age Swamp Thing coverage. We decided to do a separate video for this final book. We would go ahead and look at it on its own. This is the adaptation. This is the comic book adaptation of the Wes Craven feature film
From 1982, yeah.
Let's crack it open.
Year I was born.
1982, year I was 2.
Oh.
We got ambulances flying by. We got cars revving their engines. You know how it is here in Strangeville, gang.
Here we go. Pretty good cover.
Yeah, who's on the cover duty on that? That's pretty cool. That's good looking. You want them? I'll take them.
I do.
Oh, get everything over. What's going on? Look at this. This is like almost like an animated series looking Swamp Thing here. And is this our dude? This is Arcane?
That's Arcane in his insect
form.
Yeah.
Look at him. It's awesome.
Yeah, we have the official adaptation of the Embassy Pictures film.
And what's his name? Wes Craven wasn't even a big enough name to put Wes Craven on the on the cover of the thing.
Yeah.
Embassy Pictures gets the top billing instead of Wes Craven. Yeah, the Wes Craven movies, it's pretty good. It's it's your standard rubber monster beat 'em up.
Okay.
There. I like it. It tries to take Swamp Thing very seriously.
Oh, okay.
And it's campy and goofy, but I don't think it's been a long time since I've watched it, but I don't remember the first one being played for laughs. But the second one, Return of Swamp Thing, is definitely hams it up, makes it goofy on purpose. So Adrienne Barbeau is rendered pretty. I mean, that pretty much looks like Adrienne Barbeau and her tits, which is pretty much what she does in the movie.
What she's there for.
Yeah, she's in a negligee,
Mm-hmm.
nightgown,
yeah,
nighty, with her tits flopping around. That's pretty much what happens in the movie. And then they replace her with a blonde in the sequel. Heather Locklear plays this chick that's like really sexually into plants.
Oh.
And she hooks up with Swamp Thing. I like the second one better because that second one has Mark Hamill. He gets turned into a giant cockroach.
No
monster,
kidding. Okay.
And then fights Swamp Thing. There's all kinds of crazy. The monster quotient is just upped in the second movie, but that's not to take away. Horror purists definitely enjoy the first movie better. So I guess the movie did well enough that they decided
to do it.
Came from a movie. It came from. Well, I was going to say the comic. Oh. It came from the comics. They made a movie and decided to make a comic about the movie. They made the comic. They made the movie based on the comics. So let's dig into it.
All right. Let's hit them credits first here.
Yeah. So we got Bruce Jones writing it. There we get the based on the Embassy Pictures. They got to get that Embassy Pictures in there still. Screenplay by Wes Craven. And we get Mark Teixeira. Our boy pencils. Mark Teixeira, Tex, our boy Tex on pencils here. And then Tony DeZuniga?
I believe so.
DeZuniga on inks. And it looks like, there's no amount of scratchiness that Mark Teixeira can do in the pencils that are going to get the inker to ink it that way. And it doesn't look like the inker inked it that way. It looks like the inker is going for, as we talked about in the previous episode, Swamp Thing, it has a pre-code EC Comics style to it that Bernie Wrightson sort of standardized for that for the style of Swamp Thing, and everybody kind of plays up to that. So it's everybody's sort of doing their own. Steve Bissette really goes fucking into business for himself, but it looks like Mark and Tony here are pretty much just kind of going back to that standardized pre-code EC Comics look to it, which is cool. But obviously, you're not getting your raw, scratchy
noodles.
Croquill Mark Teixeira noodling on here. But still cool that he's. I mean, this is proto Teixeira probably. This is whatever you said. This was 82.
82.
So I'm not sure how much work he had before 82, but I'm guessing this might be some of Teixeira's first work because you start,
most of the stuff we've seen is early 90s.
You started pencils, and I've explained this in other videos. I don't think you were here. I have a video. I guess it'll be aired. Yeah, it'll be aired before we do this. So if you go back and watch my video on Greg Capullo's The Creech,
okay,
I go crazy breaking down the difference between laying out and penciling and inking and what somebody looks like when they ink themselves over their own pencils, what someone looks like inking over someone else's. I mean, I broke out the tools. I show what a Croquill looks like, what a Tech pen looks like, what a brush looks like, or a fill pen, and I kind of try to go over the whole process. And so, the division of labor when you give a new the reason why the new guy is the penciler, because we saw that when we did the He-Man coverage. It was Bruce Timm. He was the penciler on a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So the reason that the division of labor is give the new guy the pencils is because the penciler has to lay all this out. So Teixeira would have to grid this out.
Okay.
He would have to lay the horizon line. He would have to do all of the what is it called? The fucking whatever. He has to lay all this out and make sure that it all works anatomically. So this, the helicopter has to look bigger than the house, and then we have the birds in the foreground, midground, background, all that that composition. That's like the majority of the work on a comic page. That's the real difficult stuff. You're taking a blank page and then you're laying everything out
for the layers of it,
to where it looks like this, and then the inker goes over it and makes it look pretty. Basically, is the inker's job. Okay. And then I show that in the Creech video about the different because Greg Capullo is the inker or is the penciler on Spawn.
Oh, he is. Okay.
He took Todd McFarlane worked on Spawn by himself, and then Greg Capullo took over for the pencils. Why? Because Todd McFarlane didn't want to have to do all this bullshit. He didn't want to have to lay all this shit in. He didn't want to have to do the layouts anymore. He just wanted to do his noodling on top of it. So he brought Greg Capullo in to do that. So then Greg Capullo did his own book, but instead of he just stayed penciler.
Oh, okay.
So the Creech, he does the pencils, he doesn't do the ink. So it's normally flopped.
Yeah.
Where
if you're a creator, you would do that.
He would get a penciler to do it, but a lot of guys have that ego, and they don't want to give up creative control. And you really get creative control as the
when
penciler.
You're the penciler.
You're doing all the layout design. So unless otherwise stated, I'm kind of going over everything that I already talked about in the other video, but guys like Mike Mignola or Kevin Eastman, or there's another guy that Rob Liefeld often will do the layouts. So the layout is the thumbnail stuff that happens before the pencil phase. And so that is just like scratching in, like I want the helicopter here, I want the house here, I want birds up here, and I want the title down here, but they don't do a lot of detail in it. It's just laying out is just, this is what the composition should look like. Now it's your job to go
bring
over
it to life.
And set it all in and make it look right. Functional. Make it look functional. So that's what Teixeira obviously was brought in to do here for this issue of Swamp Thing, was to be the guy the layout and design guy, and then Tony got to just noodle over the top of it, which doesn't take a ton of effort. That's why Todd likes to do it on Spawn, and he's even said in interviews. Todd said in interviews that he can ink over anybody's pencils and make it look like Todd McFarlane.
Oh, wow.
He wants you to do the work so that all the perspective is in place. That's the word I was struggling to find, was you have to do the perspective grid. So the horizon line is going to be like here, and then you got to grid all this out. The end of the perspective is going to be way off the page over here, and these lines are going to be all cut out like this. It's just a pain in the ass. It's a big fucking pain in the ass to make this shit look to the human eye like it has the correct depth from the camera angle.
Yeah.
With all the perspective grids and everything.
I was going to say, it's great here, but then if you look here, that thing looks like a miniature helicopter.
It sure does, right? It sure does. So Tex spent all his time on that page and then fucking just was like, fuck this helicopter. In fact, in a lot of in the old days, these guys had what are called morgue files, and it would just be photographs, usually cut out of magazines and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But oftentimes where they would go and take Polaroids themselves, where they would go. So I'm not, he's not going to sit and draw a fucking picture of a helicopter
just from scratch,
just out of his fucking brain. So he would have a morgue file of a bunch of different angles of helicopters, and that was probably a toy helicopter.
Oh.
That was probably literally his son's toy, and he just held it up or took a picture of it from that angle because that doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Same
he
colors, but
probably had this in his morgue file. Probably did not have this angle in his morgue file. It's probably a toy. Just more process junky shit. I don't know if that's interesting to anybody or not. I mean, it's interesting to creators. Cool,
yeah. It'll be neat to see whenever we actually watch the movie later too. See if that's how it opens maybe too.
Yeah, it's been so long since I saw the movie. I don't know how close this is to, but I think it's fairly close. I think this is all what happens at the beginning of the movie.
So we got an introduction here. Got some scientists in the middle of a swamp working with botany.
Is that Alec?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Arcane shows up at some point here, or has his dudes show up to, I guess, I forget what the storyline is. I guess it's all in here. Let's fucking read it out. Not long ago, in the unexplored reaches of an unmapped swamp, the creative genius of one man collided with another's evil dream, and a monster was born. Too powerful to be destroyed, too intelligent to be captured, this being still pursues its savage dream. Swamp Thing. I'll do that page.
Sure. Cries of animals and insects crisscross through gleaming sinks and bogs as the copter settles earthward at last, and Alice Cable begins the adventure of her life. What does Holland think about getting yanked from the swamps back to Washington, Charlie? I doubt if Ritter's told him, Miss Cable. He couldn't even believe me when I radioed him the news this morning. Here's the command shed. An abandoned church? I'll show you that later. Come in. And inside. Nice equipment. What's Holland working on here, anyway? Well, it's all hush-hush. Something to do with plants, though. Blast! There's the phone. Hey. Oh, sorry. Hey, there's a sensor that's... Ritter wants his report pronto. Let's go.
I do that shit all the time. I read the
wrong
panel
voice.
with the wrong voice. Soon. Come on, get that thing out of sight. You want to get picked up on a spy satellite? Welcome back, Charlie. This is the new electronics officer. Cable, meet Harry Ritter, project field supervisor. I want to run checks on all the sensors right away. At least one is reading malfunction. No surprise, they rot in a week. What word from Washington, Charlie? A rumor. Somebody heard Arcane's got wind of the project. What? I thought Arcane was dead. All it takes is for one idiot to spill this to Holland, and the whole operation will blow up. Get me? Yes, sir. Good. With a squeak of rusted hinges, the double doors of the ruined church swing open. Cable finds herself in a space between the crumbling outer surface and an inner gleaming shell. I keep the number of people near Holland to a minimum. This sensor admits only the three of us and the Hollands.
Look around, Cable. Come on, Charlie. I want to hear about that Arcane rumor. What about the sensor out in Sector 3? Right. See if you can get somebody to take you out there. Me? Go in the swamps? Left alone, Cable wanders about in the vast equipment, entering the arboretum. Excuse me, I'm Alice Cable, new kid on the block. You kids part of Holland's crew? I'm Dr. Linda Holland. This guy here is my brother Alec. Boy genius and oddball, the brains in the family. Greetings. I understand you have a sensor out? Come on, I'll give you the cook's tour of the swamp. Ritter's always after me to get at some fresh air anyway. Well, okay.
Goddamn dialogue out the ass.
I know.
In minutes. By the way, Dr. Holland, what happened to the man I'm replacing? He stepped on a gator. The gator followed its natural instincts. Oh. Keep moving. There's quicksand here. And keep your eyes open. One of these might jump out and bite you. Why, thank you, Dr. Holland. It's lovely. Over 100 species of genus Orchia here. So much beauty in the swamps. Alice, if you open your eyes to it. Yeah, about that sensor. Right over here.
Fucking crazy about that sensor.
Hey, all the wires have been cut. Well, perhaps we better get back, Dr. Holland.
Back at the base. There's a cut sensor out there, Ritter. What? Wire? Sector 3. Hank was working on that one when the gator got him. You didn't see another agent out there, did you? No, why? Fella named Ron, we've lost communication with him. What's that? Shots? Get the pow pow.
Yeah.
As the group dashes inside the compound. Linda, are you okay? Damnedest thing! That new batch I cooked up! Watch! And as Linda flings a drop of liquid at the floor, pow! A new type of nitro. Strange, we just developed this stuff last week. We haven't even tested it beyond microscopic analysis. What exactly are you doing here anyway, Dr. Holland? This is the new stuff on the screen. See this? It never existed before on the face of the earth. A basic vegetable cell, but with an unmistakable animal nucleus. Recombinant DNA. What are you, growing tomatoes the size of weather balloons?
I think we get the fucking picture here. We get in.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Arcane's fucking crew here?
Looks like it.
It's
yeah.
finally broke in. What do they say there?
An interesting specimen you have there, Dr. Holland. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
The name is Ferret. I represent a private party that wants the formula, who will give an arm and a leg to own it. Your arm and leg, if necessary. So now we've got Sis held captive here.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy is a double crosser.
Oh.
Is this Arcane? Was he Arcane the whole time?
Looks like it.
Let's see what it says here. There's movement behind them. Holland looks up to see Ritter. What's the holdup, Ferret? He's being difficult. Ritter, you're a part of this? No, Dr. Holland, not Ritter. Ritter, poor fellow, is long dead. Then Ritter performs a totally unexpected feat of black magic. Your mistake, dear Ferret, was in threatening this man. You should instead threaten those he loves. That's a good... I forget the actor's name that plays Arcane in the movie, but that's a real good representation of him there.
Okay.
You can go ahead and do that one.
All material pertaining to this substance now, or she dies. What sort of rejuvenation will you be able to perform on her then?
So he clicks the gun, loads the gun, whatever, and
Alec goes to the safe to get the formulas.
Sis gets shot in the back, kicks one of the formulas under the door. Alec grabs that new experimental nitro. He throws it. How does that happen?
Oh, that guy punches it while he's still holding it.
He punches it in his hands and it catches
Alec on
fire. What's that say?
Arcane and his men are driven backwards by the wall of fire while the screams of Alec Holland ring deafeningly around them. As Holland's flaming, shrieking body flashes by Cable, regains consciousness for a moment, the final notebook hidden beneath her. Holland bursts from the church, staggering across the compound to the only relief he can imagine, and plunges in. Seconds later, Ferret's explosives do their work on the lab, but under a clump of thick brambles just yards from the burning church. You see that Alice has still got the file.
Swamp Thing, Part 2. A windless, foreboding morning. The deep red skies capped?
Looks like caped, yeah.
With smoke from the ruined church Ferret drags on his cigarette, watching like a hawk in a treetop. His men poke through the smoldering rubble, but there is little to save. At the water's edge, the last weighted body is thrown down into the deep swamp.
Ooh.
Jeez. So
She hides the notebook in the tree.
Hides the notebook in a tree and then gets captured by Ferret.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh boy. Oh boy. What do we got here? We got, the rocking boat lurches farther out into the black pool. The struggling girl's kicks echoing from its aluminum sides. No! Throws her in the water. Cable comes up choking and screaming, only to be shoved back under again and again. It's like a game to Ferret, a cruel, sadistic game. They close again, Ferret leaning out, shoving her under. Seconds go by. Cable's strengthless hand falls away under his wrist and goes under. And then, just when no one could last a second longer...
Yoink.
And now we have...
Yeah. A split second later, a green leviathan looms up out of the rolling waters with an astonishing burst of energy. What in Hades was that? Where's Ferret? Look, there! And a moment later, a dim shape can be seen surging through the deep mist, lumbering out on the far shore, carrying the limp body of Alice Cable. It's got the girl! Shoot it! Kill it! Moments later, as an exhausted Ferret struggles to shore. Get it! Kill it and her!
Let's speed on to the climax here.
Sure thing.
Swamp Thing saves his girl. She's crawling over to where she hid the file. Mm-hmm. More of his goons show up. He beats up more of the goons. Is that Ferret?
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, out of the almost maddening silence, maybe we should go get the hell out of here. I gotta get...
Okay. This is the kid you were talking about?
No, that's from Return of Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay.
I guess he might be in the movie, first movie. I'm not sure. He's hanging out with Alice, finds her a gun. Swamp Thing's still fucking with Ferret. We got to get Swamp Thing fighting
Arcane,
and get the fuck out of here. Saves the boy, gives him the file. Ferret going hard on Alice here, gets kicked in the face for his troubles. Now we finally have the Mother of God moment from Ferret here as Swamp Thing. Oh, he's gonna
katana or machete.
Yeah, takes the machete, cuts Swamp Thing's arm off. That wasn't a good idea. He snaps his neck off screen here.
Oh, wow.
And that's that. And then he gets caught.
Trapped in a net. Okay.
One-armed. Jeez, how long is this comic?
Part 3.
Yeah, this is a hefty comic. And Arcane's here with his shareholders or whatever. We're here in celebration of an event of profound significance, the duplication of the Holland formula. For this we must thank the excellence of one man, dear Bruno, who won the notebook from which we extracted the final secret and topped it by capturing the beast. But sir, have you tried it out on a plant yet? I mean, where are we going to see the results?
Oh, he drugged his wine.
Oh my God, he drugged the guy's wine. He turned him into a little fucking freak show.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, there he is. He's got Swamp Thing all chained up. Still only has one arm. And so now he knows that this transforms you into mutants, but takes it anyway. Whatever his justification is, to be immortal, to reach absolute beauty, absolute strength and power, physical and spiritual, to own the world. That wasn't a good idea. And the Swamp Thing grow... Oh, these are his feet.
Nice.
Or no, he regrows his arm. He turns his feet into... I guess he plants his feet into the ground, although they're not planted here. But he regrows... Here it is. He regrows his hand. Okay. Gets his arm back. That's when we realize that our boy Swamp Thing is regenerative.
Arms lifted to the nourishing sunlight. His giant shadow streaming back against the stone walls. His great body swells until snap, crack, pop.
And this is the little dude.
Yeah, from the wine. Some kind of
like
weird ritualistic fountain
that they jump into, swim away, get free.
Whoa.
But then Arcane.
He's like a wolf man.
Alec. As Cable and the Swamp Thing reel back in awe, the towering leviathan that was Arcane roars from the pool. He likes that word, Doug Jones. Is it Doug Jones?
No, I don't think so. 887.
887.
Or 888 would be the credits.
Yeah, that's Bruce Jones.
Bruce.
He likes the word leviathan,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny because I used to when I wrote novels, I would always put the word leviathan somewhere in every book.
No kidding.
To try to trick my editor, Sean, into not catching it, and he would always tell me leviathan page whatever it was on. He would catch it every time. I never got it past him. This guy likes leviathan too.
A big epic fight here with giant club. This is a giant rubber suit battle. You said in the movie.
In the movie, yeah. It's this rubber suit battle, and I don't know if I guess he does. I guess Arcane ends up looking like this weird purple wolf guy in the first movie. I think he becomes that insect-looking thing.
Oh yeah.
From the Bernie Wrights and Steve Bissett in the second movie.
Okay. Gets a sword through his midsection there.
That's it.
That's it.
Arcane's great armored body teeters backward and topples into the frothing swamp. There's a hissing explosion, then silence. Moments later, go ahead.
Moments later, Swamp Thing turns back to the girl. I don't understand. My wound, it's healing.
Yes, it's over.
Over? Alec, no. Let me go with you. You can start your work again.
You need to heal and to tell our story. I'll see you soon. Until then, I'll always be with you.
Miss Cable, you all right? Alec. He told me to come get you. He'll be back, though, right? Right?
Gotta leave that girl wanting more. Can't give her too much or she won't appreciate you.
Oh.
Well, what'd you think of the movie adaptation of the Swamp Thing, and then the comic book, the Swamp Thing comic, and then the comic adaptation of the Swamp Thing movie? What'd you think?
It seems enjoyable.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, after we looked at the last episode where we looked at all of the awesome monster fighting, it's a little underwhelming.
It is.
It's kind of like a long origin story.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a nice, robust, however many pages that was, 65, 70 pages of origin story, which we didn't really get with the other stuff we looked at. Just kind of gives rushes over it and checks it out. I wonder what our patrons think of the Swamp Thing movie adaptation, comic book adaptation. You can become a patron for only $3 a month. Gain access to 20 years of comics, novels, and feature films from the twisted mind of yours truly, Kevin Strange. You get Kevin Strange's Space Worms, my 164-page graphic novel, Count Kefula, a.k.a. Dracula in Strangeville, my newest comic, just came out in October. Death to Strangeville, Wizard of Ganj, Too Many Dabs, many other comics, many other novels, as I said a few minutes ago. I've also got over a dozen novels and feature films where I have my own rubber monsters fighting people. Andrew was a rubber monster in at least one of my movies, and he's also one of my patrons. Our patron list, our shouts. We got to give our shout outs to our current patron members. We got Savage Splendor,
The Dark Lord Carrion,
we got 666 Yoshi,
Alien on LSD,
Joseph Stark,
Loud Pack Productions,
we got Dave Baxter,
Jason German,
Mutant Minds,
Joshua Wise,
Jeremy Maddox,
Nirvana,
Andrew Varble.
Hey!
I left off the R.
Yeah, you did. Darren Oni,
And Raz. If you would like to see your name up here in the big lights, the big Hollywood lights, consider becoming a patron today. The link is in the description to all that goodness. And make sure you like and subscribe too, gang. About 50% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. The algorithm just puts our videos over on your homepage, and you might catch one of our videos. But if you want to be notified when all of our videos come out, this is a daily YouTube channel. I put out comic videos every single day. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, and we are almost to that coveted 1,000 subscriber number that will get us out of small channel hell, allow us to monetize this channel and bring you upgraded equipment, better cameras, computers, microphones,
Guess.
better guests, possibly a better studio where you don't hear motorcycles and fucking ambulances and fire trucks race through every single episode. And and we're only about 50 subscribers away from that goal. We're going to hit that goal hopefully before Christmas. And as an early Christmas present, I'm going to give away Kevin Strange's Space Worms, the 164-page full color graphic novel, digitally for free at the Patreon. So you won't even have to be a patron to get that benefit. For 1 month after we hit 1,000 subscribers, that Space Worms graphic novel is going to be free digitally at the link in the description. So, well, I was going to say that's all we have, but we also have to talk about if you own Rubber Monster movies and you would like to send them my way, send them to Kevin Strange, P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois, 62018. And if you are a creator and you make your own comics and you'd like to see them featured here on the channel, like Paul Porkjohn did with his cool zine here, Junked, then send them my way. Kevin Strange, P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois, 62018. And he's got this nice gnarly style here. And it says, Junked. Look at you, you beautiful bastard. Actually, I read this last time. You can read it this time if you want.
Reading the Ash Can edition of Junked, I can assure you now that this amazing new underground alt comics is better than any of the other literature you have lying around your house. The brilliant, strong, and impressive men over at the Junkyard have crafted this mighty tome out of muscle and blood as a well-deserved distraction from your difficult and unrelenting life. You owe it to the men of Junked to take all of your other comics outside and burn them. The Junked crew are Dylan Hetty, Daniel Hughes, Paul Courtjohn, and Leslie Windlock. This issue was edited together by Dan, and even though he realized before finalizing it that he had forgotten to include a table of contents in it, he did not care enough to add one. Any queries and complaints can be sent to us on the internet. You'll figure out how to find us. And always remember, if you're not reading Junked, then you're not reading Junked.
Too true, too true. So thank you, Paul, for sending along this rad zine. Lots of cool comics in here from lots of cool creators. That's an awesome looking stuff. And we look forward to seeing more from Paul and his crew, and we look forward to seeing stuff from you, gang. Kevin Strange, P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois, 62018 gets you the goods. And I'm out of here. We got more Swamp Thing to read. Remember to stay strange.